You could eat our sunscreen, it wouldn't taste good. That vitamin D and vitamin E in there, your kid's skin's gonna love it. I wear our sports sunscreen as deodorant. The marine systems, the coral reef systems that are in close proximity to significant consumer-borne petrochemical runoff, those are the only ones that are truly dying away. So UVB, think burn, skin surface. UVA, think aging, deeper tissues. It's got not only vitamin E in it, but vitamin D in it. Imagine that. The stuff we actually eat and put on our skin actually matters. I want to make the best product based on true scientific knowledge.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're very excited to have you. So let's start off by talking a little bit about the origin of Waxhead. How did it start? How'd you get into sunscreen?
We lived in Atlanta for 15 years. And in 2013, we moved here. Amelia Island is a little bit north of Jacksonville. And Kari had always been a person who, probably like you, researched a lot on the internet and found stuff before other people did. Like, I remember her telling me about partially hydrogenated oil before it was a thing. And she was just ahead of the curve, probably like you guys are more intensely now. Anyway, so we moved here and we'd always used stuff like Neutrogena, Helioplex. Wow, that sounds sciencey. And we were like everybody else. You know, we had our day jobs and we didn't have enough time in the day to care about every little thing. You know, you trust that the powers that be, and I'm not an anti-establishment guy or anything, but you know, everybody's got to make a living, and if something's allowed, some people are going to take advantage of that stuff, and that's what the big sunscreen companies do. And so we found that out. We like, what oxybenzone? What, huh? And all the other stuff, and the long list of inactives, and it was crazy. And so when we moved here, our youngest was 5, and he had eczema, moderate to almost severe sometimes. And he would have Band-Aids on his hands, and you know, your heart goes out to him. As a parent, you want to do anything you can to help him.
Yeah. And
so we just became more aware of skincare ingredients and sunscreen in particular, because we had just moved to Florida. And it was horrifying. And we did more and more research. And then we got into the nutritional component of it. Our first product was actually not sunscreen. It was a sun defense nutrient bar.
Really?
We found some really cool studies. I think one is University of Oregon and one is University of Texas. And they were big, N equals 1,000, double blind, legitimate empirical science studies that showed that a combination of high levels of antioxidants, both a fat-soluble and a water-soluble antioxidant, would basically remove the free radicals, the abundance of free radicals created by UV energy hitting skin. That's what one of the things that happens is it hits your skin and it creates a bunch of free radicals, and your body, especially when it's young, can keep up with that. But as you grow older and you're less able to keep up with it, you know, and eventually we all grow old and die, but we can be more healthy along the way, right?
Right.
Anyway, so we tested it out. We contacted a bar manufacturer. I think they were in Chicago, and they made these really good whole ingredient bars, you know, oats and cranberries and stuff like that. And so we literally would have them add 500% of your daily allowance of both vitamin E, fat soluble, and vitamin C, water soluble. And we actually were going to do more vitamin E, but we backed it up because we realized it is fat soluble. It doesn't exit the body automatically like a vitamin C does. You can literally overdose on it, right? And so anyway, so we made these bars, and to start, we sent them out to fishermen and surfers who we'd come across, and we would send them a box of 12, and they would go out and do their thing. And if they normally wore sunscreen, they would leave a forearm or a leg or something exposed with no sunscreen. And if they go out for 3 hours or 5 hours or all day or whatever, then they would heuristically document how much redness, how much pain before and after shower, how much peeling, how fast, all that kind of stuff, describe it. And then use some sort of ratings for levels of pain and levels of redness, etc., levels of peeling. You know, on 1 to 10, 10 being the most, how much did you peel? You know? And they would eat the bars one a day for over the next 2 weeks. And then they'd go do their thing again with a different forearm exposed. So there was no sort of tanning advantage. So we felt like it was apples to apples. And then they would leave that exposed. And then they would do another description and data, their sort of heuristic data collection on pain and all those sort of things, 1 to 10. And so we did it 30 times, and we were 30 for 30. Every person felt it had been an improvement. it was an improvement of 48%. And now this was not double blind. There was no placebo. We knew what we were testing. They knew what we were testing. So I'm sure there was some bias there. I'm an old stat guy, but we felt like it was a confirmation of true scientific studies. And it was very popular. I mean, of course, we didn't get rich doing it. People bought them, but logistically, it was too much. And also, the FDA started coming down on, I think it was some sort of Heliosun product. It was a pill, and it made promises of something similar. It was doing a different mechanism nutritionally, but the idea was the same. It was eat your sunscreen. And they got kind of shut down. And so we thought, and then we also tried to patent the technology, and we had some good patent attorneys, but the person we got at the patent office was sort of a gatekeeper mentality. And they were like, I don't think that this is possible. So anyway, we didn't want to keep spending good money after bad to keep doing that. And it also hit us that not enough people are going to eat a 200 calorie per bar snack every day, the same thing. I mean, they want some variety in their life. And we had different flavors, but you're not going to eat that. So we shelved it. It's still shelved. We're going to try to put it in gummies or something like that someday. But in the meantime, we started selling sunscreen, and that's been much just, more normal, not as weird. So again, long answer. So anyway,
no, that's okay. That's
we did bars first and then got into sunscreen. Yeah.
I feel like gummies would be a really good idea. And even for kids too, but I feel like that is something that is so smart, but like the timing, you need the perfect timing for it.
There needs to be a story on Good Morning America telling Americans that this is a thing. I call it the middle class consumer mindset. I'm middle class, but I don't have a consumer mindset. I don't think you guys have a consumer mindset. I think there are a ton of people out there who don't have a consumer mindset, but a large portion of the first world has just a total consumer mindset. They want everything to be an easy button. Mm-hmm. They want it to be a Disney cruise. They think there can be a thing where there's no trade-offs, where it's all positives. Like, no, there are trade-offs with our sunscreen. Our sunscreen for a middle-class consumer is a weird thing. And they're like, oh, this is too thick, or oh, the ingredients separated in my everyday. So, well, no, that's like a natural peanut butter. It doesn't have artificial emulsifier. So you might see a brown streak of iron oxides. Shake it up, knead it. If there's any separation remains, rub it on your skin, it'll be fine. But that requires a mindset and an appreciation of what you're getting versus what you're giving up. Right. And these sunscreens today, I mean, my goodness, the big sunscreen companies, they are so good at making wonderfully smelling, wonderfully homogenized stuff that's like butter that melts into your skin, and 30 to 80% right into your bloodstream.
Yes.
Right. I was shocked. I maybe I'm late to the game, but we were at the store the other day just checking out what was on the shelves, and I saw the different fragrances that are included in sunscreen. Now I was like, wow, I didn't know they were doing that.
Strawberry,
watermelon, coconut, all that good stuff.
It's like you're going
it's all natural flavors.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're going in water usually. Why do you have to smell good? You're out in the sun.
But you nailed it, like the consumer mindset. We see that across the board because we cover a lot of different areas, all related to health and wellness. And it's always, especially here, it's always about convenience and speed and not thinking through long-term effects. And when you do have those long-term effects, you don't necessarily relate it back to those small moves you could have made all along the way, right? We call it something else, we cover it up, and we do something different about it. When just pay a little attention in current time, you can do a lot for yourself. And sunscreen falls right in that category.
And who's to say if you develop melanoma or basal cell or squamous cell when you're 52, what caused it? Was it your genetics? Was it environmental pollution? Was it something else? Right. Do you guys know that the FDA just approved bemetrizanol?
Yes. I was going to ask how you felt about that.
It is a much better petrochemical. It is more photostable when it's hit by sun. It doesn't absorb as much. It's better at covering both UVA and UVB by itself. I haven't seen yet how much of UVA and how well of UVA it covers. Like titanium dioxide is a pretty good sunscreen ingredient. It's not nearly as good as zinc oxide because in the second half of UVA, its coverage drops almost off completely. And so if you're using something with titanium dioxide only, I know another brand used to do that, and she's great. I mean, the woman who started this company, I mean, she's really into the environmental stuff, and she's an oceanographer, but her first products had titanium dioxide only. And the problem with that is there's a disconnect between what isn't happening as fast on the surface because of the very high rates of UVB protection versus what is happening more quickly in deeper tissues. And so you don't get God's or nature's cues, whichever. Either God or nature is telling you, oh, you're getting red, you're getting tight. And that's your cue. Like our grandfathers and grandmothers lived, and they rolled up their sleeves or went and had lunch or got under a tree or put on a hat or, of course they didn't have sunscreen, but it's a clue to put on more. But when you have that disconnect, you don't get that clue as fast as you need it.
Right.
And so anyway, I don't know how much bemetrizanol protects against the UVA. And even if it does, it is literally a derivative of crude oil. And they can talk about the European studies all they want, but crude oil is not meant, it's not biochemically matched to human systems. It's not biochemically matched to ocean systems. If for all the consumer mindsets out there who want this quick sunscreen that they can spray on and breathe in their lungs, I think it's better. It's like there's a anti-bug thing that's called Ranger Ready, and it's a much better version. It doesn't absorb as much. It's still toxic, but it's a fairly effective thing of keeping deer ticks off you and mosquitoes, and that's a good thing. If you're gonna go into the woods in Connecticut in the fall, wear DEET. I mean, I'd rather wear DEET and get a little bit of toxicity exposure than open myself up more to deer ticks and get Lyme disease.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to
everything's a trade-off. Yeah.
So
Ranger Ray is a better version of that, and I think that Tenosor bemetrizanol is a better version of the junk, and that's good. It's like they made a healthier Big Mac.
Yes, yeah.
Go in the right direction at least.
So first I want to start with chemical sunscreens. Can you walk us through the common chemical sunscreen ingredients? Like what are they actually doing to the skin?
Well, oxybenzone is, that's the current industry boogeyman, and that was for years the go-to of the big companies for protecting against UVA. And so UVB, think burn, skin surface. UVA, think aging, deeper tissues. And you want to cover all of it. And you want to cover all of it as close to the same rate as possible, so there is no disconnect. That's the beauty of zinc oxide, because it does that by itself. So a modern petrochemical sunscreen is basically, it's a puzzle, and each piece of the puzzle sort of covers a different range within the UVB, UVA spectrum. And so oxybenzone was put in there to cover the UVA, while things like, and I might be getting these chemicals wrong because there's so many of them, homosalate and octocrylene, they were in there to sort of give oxybenzone more stability and also cover UVB.
Yeah.
The chemicals, how they work. So it's a puzzle. They're crude oil derivatives, and they're put together in just some sort of certain way through various advanced chemistry techniques in labs. And they absorb the UV energy, and they kind of like absorb it into your skin, and it doesn't do the kind of damage it otherwise would have. But the energy is still kind of around, and it doesn't dissipate it and reflect it away the way zinc oxide does.
Right.
And oxybenzone, a typical dose of sunscreen with oxybenzone in it or avobenzone mimics estrogen in the body to the tune of what a woman going through menopause takes as a daily supplement.
No kidding.
And we put this on our 7-year-olds and 9-year-old boys and girls. I mean, my goodness.
Or putting it on every day. They're lathering it all over his kids.
Right. So anyway, oxybenzone got replaced by avobenzone. It's a shell game. It's almost the same exact molecular structure.
The regrettable substitution.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
Regrettable substitution.
I love that term.
Right. And I think I saw a video of you a couple of days ago. It's like, wow, these guys are great. And you were talking about the Hawaii ban of 2021. And I talk about this fairly regularly. When in 2021, Hawaii, with great intentions, politically they were, I don't know the political shenanigans that stopped them from banning all petrochemicals, but a lot of their tourism depends on the beautiful sea life that's there, and it was getting really hurt. And so they were able to ban oxybenzone and octinoxate, but all the others are available, and they dutifully substituted avobenzone. Going to be the same problem. So that allowed companies to use the term reef safe, which isn't regulated, to say we're reef safe or we're reef friendly because we're oxybenzone free and we're octinoxate free.
Right. I couldn't believe that. That was because I have always known about the ingredients, because I've been in clean beauty and I've always paid attention to the ingredients for like us, but I was shocked. I did not even ever think about marine life, and I saw reef safe and I was like, oh, well, that's a plus. But I don't know, a consumer mind, I guess. I just didn't think much about it. So that was really surprising. And that's like a really big deal. Like this is our earth here that's providing us with resources to survive. And we need to take that seriously.
It is. And it so happens that, and I get a lot of this, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Hereditas Foundation. They're in DC and they're an environmental group. And the guy who heads that, his name is Craig Downs. You might want to reach out to him. Okay.
I was just about to mention that because he actually did research, saying that him and Joseph DiNardo found that when we were talking about the hormones, he did research saying at even a normal rate, children are exposed as what they consider toxic levels of endocrine disrupting chemicals when they just put like regular sunscreen on. And I thought that was important for parents to know.
I mean, I'm not a physician, but I wonder if when I hear endocrine, I think diabetes. Yeah. And the diabetes too is out of control, especially among kids. And I think, is that a little part of that? I don't know.
Who knows?
Because it's messing with your hormones and your glands and all that kind of stuff, and it can't be good. Anyway,
it is. So, and we always say too, the crunchy world can be very overwhelming when you're trying to make sure that like everything is perfect. But at the end of the day, we can only do so much. So these little micro changes, like switching over sunscreen or anything else, those add up too. But it doesn't mean that we can just completely stress out and change every single thing in 2026 in America.
Unfortunately, and it's unfortunate that, like when you go to a parenting class is full of people who don't need parenting class, who aren't going to need it because they care and they're going to be great parents. The ones that need it aren't going to the parenting class.
It's very true. Good point.
But to go back to your topic about the reefs, so it's so this comes from Craig. I think he is a well-meaning, unbiased scientist who is truly trying to find out the truth. I don't think he has an agenda against free enterprise or whatever you want to call that. And his unbiased and a very well-informed opinion is that it's only the marine systems, the coral reef systems that are in close proximity to significant consumer-borne petrochemical runoff. Those are the only ones that are truly dying away. All the others are holding their own. They can hold their own against environmental change, whatever you want to think about that. They can hold their own against plastics. They can hold their own against industrial pollution. But the haymaker punch is these petrochemicals. And we did the math on it, and it turns out that every 3 years, you guys remember the Exxon Valdez?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Every 3 years, the petrochemical equivalent of the Exxon Valdez goes into our oceans directly from consumer-borne petrochemical sunscreen runoff. Every 3 years. Yep.
Every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
And you remember how upset and how much attention that got back then?
Yeah, all the ducks.
You see those videos, they're just heartbreaking watching them cleaning the oil off the ducks and all the different animals.
Yeah, sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But a petrochemical isn't visible like oil is.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Every 3 years. And on the human side, one single use of typical sunscreen is going to deliver directly to your bloodstream an amount of toxins that you avoid by eating at least an entire year's worth of clean organic food.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a stat I didn't know.
It's because the toxicity levels are off the charts.
Yeah.
So if you go to the store and just pick up any old apple or any old tomato, and it's been sprayed with Roundup and it's been washed with water, but there's some remnants. The FDA is going to allow that to have different, depending on the food and depending on the toxin, it's going to allow somewhere, let's say between 2 and 8 parts per million. But let's say your average bite of food that you eat all year long has 10 parts per million of something that's foreign, like Roundup or some sort of toxin that your body, not going to kill you, but your body's got to do something with it. It's got to go into your liver's got to filter it out, yada, yada. Average American eats 2,000 pounds of food, and you can do the math on this. That 10 part per million is going to come out to 1/3 of an ounce in the entire year. Well, 1 ounce of sunscreen is a typical dose. If you're going out on the beach and you got your legs uncovered, maybe your chest and your arms and neck and face and nose and everything, feet, well, 1 ounce is going to be a pretty decent coverage. Well, in that 1 ounce, you're talking 300,000 to 450,000 parts per million. And that parts per million is absorbing through your skin somewhere between 30 and 80% into your bloodstream. It's not going into your liver, where your liver gets to do its job of filtering things out.
Right.
It's going directly into the bloodstream, and your body's got to do something with this. It's got to get it out. It's got to process it. And your body does all kinds of things. It's amazing, especially when it's young, and it peaks at 22 or whenever. But it can only do so much, and it only can do so much for so long. And as you age, it can do less. It's less fast. And that's why, I mean, some people, I just talked to a guy 3 days ago. He's traveling around. He's a computer scientist guy. He's gotten to a point where he can travel around these places. But he got his first squamous cell when he was 25. Most people don't do that, but there are people like that. But certainly, I don't know what the percentage is, but probably by the time you're 60, 80% have some sort of problem that the dermatologist dutifully takes care of. And I love dermatologists. I mean, they know what they're doing, but some of them, many of them, have a fairly disinterested approach to the science of sunscreen, which is a shame. Yeah. But it's less and less. There are more and more who would never say anything like, "Oh, just use a good 15 SPF or above." What are you talking about? That's such a glib. Mm-hmm. I mean, for a person who's expert in skin. Yeah. So anyway.
So I wanted to mention this too. We talked about how a lot of chemical sunscreens are absorbed into the blood and the concentrations continue to increase with daily use.
I didn't see that study. That really? They increase?
Yes. Okay. The concentrations continue to increase with daily use. And so oxybenzone has even been found in breast milk.
Right. I knew that.
What do you think, what does that mean for someone who's using chemical sunscreen every single day? It's just adding up.
The Big Mac is not going to kill you in a day, but it's going to shorten your lifespan. I mean, oxybenzone is going to shorten your lifespan. I mean, it may be that you're the 1 in 1,000 people that can eat this for lunch and it's not a problem to you, but who knows who that is? And for the average human, it is going to cause you problems. Before 1920, skin cancer kind of didn't exist. They would call in the interns when there was a skin cancer case because it was so rare. Then it did tick up once the 50s came. After World War II, we started spending a little bit more time in the sun, and we got away from the farms and rolling up our sleeves. And with mass marketing of travel and wearing bathing suits and bikinis and all that kind of stuff, we spent more time in the sun. So skin cancer ticked up. It wasn't exponential. What really got it started was in the mid-70s when they started mass marketing the big-time petrochemical sunscreens. And since then, since 1975, on average, Americans have spent per capita, inflation-adjusted, 4% more every year for sunscreens. In that same time, skin cancer rates have tracked right along beside. They're both up about, I've lost count, but it's like over 450%. Since that time, they're both up that much. Now, part of that, aging, baby boomers, they are making more and more old people. And, you know, if in the 1910s, when people died when they were 45 from a stomach ulcer or something, well, they didn't have time to get skin cancer. So that is a part of that. But the annual increase in people 65 and older is only 1.5%. So 4.5 minus 1.5 equals 2.5%. So there's 2.5% to me, which seems to be relatively unexplained. And I believe that a significant part of that is the bad sunscreen you're using. They not only give you this ignorant bliss to stay out too long without protecting yourself or putting on more, they actually give you toxic problems.
And now we've got everybody staying inside so much and not getting just regular sun exposure.
Yeah. Right. 40% of Americans have a vitamin D deficiency. Yeah.
Yeah. And that can be solved with like what, 20 minutes? You just go out and get a little bit of sun, right?
Sure. Yeah. And we actually make a version. Actually, all right. Can I show a product?
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So these are both the same. They're exact same formulation. This is what it actually is. It's vitamin enriched sunscreen. It's got not only vitamin E in it, but vitamin D in it. So if you use in 1 ounce, theoretically it'll absorb through your skin and your bloodstream, and it'll give you your recommended daily allowance of vitamin D, natural vitamin D. And so it's meant to replace what your body's not making like it should because you're wearing the sunscreen.
That's genius to add vitamin D in there.
Genius.
Okay. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
So
my biochemist is pretty good.
Okay, so let's talk about aerosols specifically. So I don't know if you know who Paul Salandino is, but I said this in one of our last episodes because it was so accurate. He was like, spray chemical sunscreens. The spray version is like the new secondhand smoke. And I could not agree with that more. And I used to be one of those people. That sprayed that on me in the beach and pools.
Right.
So,
I mean, how do you want to take your drug? I don't want to shoot up my arm with freebase. I'll just smoke the crack pipe. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of smoking a petrochemical pipe. You know, if you take a can of WD-40, right?
Yeah.
And then take a match and spray it, it'll make a blowtorch, right? Take a can of petrochemical sunscreen and try the same thing. It's a blowtorch.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
we should do that for one of our videos.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you
Now,
can do that.
I mean, depending on we actually put this out here. This is years ago. We had our oldest, he was then like 10, and we had him do it. So he did this, and he's got big gloves on, but we weren't trying to monetize it. We were just trying to put it out there on YouTube. Like, look at this. This is stark. And then we took our sports stick and opened that up, and then put a lighter to that, and it just doesn't do anything, just to illustrate it. But like the powers that be like, oh no, you can't show that. That's inciting idiocy. So
that's what people need to see, though.
No,
people need to see that, because that's the whole point of us even wanting to do this episode, because I'm learning so much too, but like most people do not know this. Most of the sunscreens have the chemical filters in it. And I think that if more people did know, like me, to me, this is a complete no-brainer of a switch for multiple reasons. Yeah. So, I mean, it's
there are valid reasons for using petrochemical sunscreen. They're cheaper, and they're easier to apply, and that's true.
Back to the convenience.
Yeah. And you don't see them on your skin. Now it's oily looking, and for many people it causes rashes, and it's insane. I mean, there are literally cases of guys that are barbecuing on their grill, and they're too slathered up with stuff, and their skin's not spontaneous. The petrochemicals flame up on their skin. This happens.
They catch on fire
because they're too close, and the grill's hot enough where it's just.
It's just disgusting.
That's wild.
It's disgusting. That all over yourself. I think most people would be aware enough to know that what you put on your skin is going to get in your body. And like we just talked about this with Roundup. I said, if I have a bottle of Roundup and I have kids, I put it in a place where they can't access it. But then I'll go spray it all over the yard and let them run around in it and get it all over their skin, right?
Yeah.
It's like you think that same logic with sunscreen. You put in sunscreen all over your body. How do you not think, okay, let me make sure at least that there's not something in here that's going to cause me harm over time?
Because we shouldn't have to think about that.
Or just like simply, like I always want to step as far back as possible. And it's like, you might not be able to say there's a study that proves that this chemical causes this result.
Yeah.
But you do know that this chemical is not good, and it's not something that's supposed to go in a human body.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And like, just start there.
It's funny. And we live in a time where it seems like so many of us, there's so many people who don't trust whatever establishment there is out there. I mean, there's so little trust for anything, and I think it's valid. Yeah. I mean, it's warranted. It was well earned, but still, so many people will buy products. It's like, the people that run the government, whether you like one party or the other, the people that run the government are all humans, and they all go to the same parties, and they make these same rules to protect them, and not to go political, but protect themselves, and we're all just the chaff, right? But companies are people too, and they have a profit motive, which I love. But they're humans too, and we're all selfish. We're all making up decisions based on what we want to get in life. And for consumers not to realize that companies don't have their best interests at heart necessarily, is just surprising.
Right?
I mean,
I want to support the companies that do.
Exactly.
I did too. Like Waxhead, sure. Yeah. So leads me into one thing. So there are 3 kinds of sunscreen companies. The big ones, immense teams of biochemists. It can do anything in a lab, make some incredibly clever products. Problem is, they'll sell anything that's legal and that someone who's uninformed will buy. On the other hand, God love them, well-meaning amateurs. They're trying their best. They've read a lot on the internet. They put things like carrot seed oil because they read somewhere that it's good for you. And it is. Not on skin that's hit by UV energy because the rich vitamin A encourages the damaged cells to reproduce before the body fixes them. They put things like essential oils in their formulations because they're good for you. Again, in a different way, they get in the way of the active ingredients doing their job as well. So they don't really know what they're doing. I can't say that they're bad products. They're good products. They're just not great products. In the middle, you have, I would say of any size, I don't know, 5 to 15 maybe, companies like us that know what they're doing from a biochemistry standpoint, but don't compromise. It's rare that I see a product as good as ours, honestly. Hey, wow, a guy thinks he's the best. Big surprise. You'll see a lot of products, they'll have zinc oxide. Some of them will have nano zinc oxide in it. Some of them will have less zinc oxide than they need to have the true SPF they're saying is broad spectrum. You'll see a 30 SPF product and it'll have 8% zinc oxide. Like, you're not getting 30 from 8. What they do is they'll add anti-inflammatories within the inactives and to suppress the red reaction. And that the SPF test is two guys in a lab looking at color swatches and compare it to a skin color. Hey, Larry, is this more like the number 2 or number 3 shade of magenta? It's not an exact process. It's fairly accurate, but it is susceptible to gaming if you can slow that red reaction, because that's what they're looking at. They're not testing it in a deep way. And the deep tissue coverage is, in a sense, what's the word? It's extrapolated from other things. It's not a direct like, oh, there's this protection at this level. And so you're able to game it. And you get that disconnect between this. Not happening as fast on the skin, but it's not really protecting down low. There's nothing wrong in itself with an anti-inflammatory, but it's giving you an ignorant bliss. Whereas zinc oxide, flat absorption curve, it covers same high rate all the way through UVB and UVA. And so if you start to get damage down below, where in zinc oxide, you're also going to start to feel a little bit on your surface. And that's going to be your cue to have lunch, put on a hat, roll up your sleeve, put on more. Yeah.
Clothes back on. Have you seen a uptick in sales and interest in the product over the last year or so?
This year we're up, let me see. So we sell mainly through our website and through Amazon, but we're up 40% over last year.
Because people are learning.
We took a pretty good downturn in COVID. I remember the day, I think it was March 13th. We were going up and up and up and up, and then you saw and we were able to get through that. But we have 2 employees, my wife and me, and then our biochemist who makes the stuff for us. He makes it only for us. So we're small, we're unfunded, if you will. We don't have investors. I want to make the best product based on true scientific knowledge. And we tell ourselves, gosh, there's gotta be, in the US alone, what would you say, how many people you think in the US, if they knew about what we're talking about, would say, holy cow, I want Waxhead? 20 million? 50 million?
I don't know, but a lot.
Yeah, I would think a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
At least 10 million. Of course, how do you get them? How do you communicate with them?
Get them?
Yeah, right. But anyway, so we get them by talking to guys like you, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
So I do want to ask this, because I think that this is important too. So back to the aerosols, beyond the chemical filter ingredients, there are multiple layers of concern, like including inhalation risks and the propellant toxicity. Yeah. There's also the benzene contamination finding, and independent testing found that in 27% of aerosols, sunscreens that were tested, some were at 3 times more the FDA concentration limit. So benzene is a recognized carcinogen. It's linked to leukemia. And so how does it even end up in sunscreen in the first place?
It ends up because of cross-contamination within the factories that are made. That's one thing we're out of. The person manufactures our stuff, and they're a legit manufacturing place, but they don't have anything like that in that facility. It's pure.
That's just such a big discrepancy, because it's like I said, it's a carcinogen. Hello. Yeah.
And I'm sure on paper, these companies have some sort of okay, here's our procedure that we use. Yeah. But when Joe, the manager of the vat that's got to get it going, he's got production realities that he doesn't have time, or maybe his manager looks the other way and says, hey, it's on paper, it says this, but in practice, things are getting into these products.
Is it possible to have a zinc oxide sunscreen in it, like a spray at least, that's not toxic?
Sure. It's not really going to be an aerosol spray. I think I get the brand mix. I think it's called Garden Goddess, and they make a nice zinc oxide spray, but it's going to spray on, and then you still have to rub it around. Whereas an aerosol petrochemical, again, I get it. The convenience is wonderful. Yeah. You spray it on, and you're good to go. How quick is that? How effortless is that? At a huge cost, health-wise. Yeah.
And I wonder.
We have friends. We like each other. We get along. We go to dinner together and stuff. And they're not idiots. But a few of them, they use the aerosol. I'm not going to be all preachy, to my friend and say, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing that." Definitely. Life's too short, and I don't begrudge him one bit.
Right.
We all do things. Some people smoke. People get tattoos. Heck, I don't eat as well as I should.
Yeah, exactly. We all have our things.
To each their own. I think everyone I know uses the aerosol sunscreen, and the biggest complaint they have is that if they get whatever you would apply by rubbing it on, or something like yours, is that they get that white film on their skin.
The white cast.
Right? The white cast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about, because that is one of the hesitations people may have from switching from chemical sunscreen to mineral sunscreen.
Should not be the hesitation.
It's white cast and like the texture.
We call it the badge of smart living.
I love it. That's perfect.
I love it too.
I mean, we love beast mode surfers that'll just wear it on their face. It's like, oh my gosh. One of our earliest affiliates, guys who encouraged us, and he goes and touts our stuff and he uses it. Guy's name is Jason Latham. He's a beast surfer. He does stand-up paddleboard. I think he's in the top 20 in the world. He goes all over the world and does stuff. And he's just unbelievably athletic and tall and just a beautiful physical specimen, right? And he's just a beast out there wearing all this stuff on his face. And it's like, wow, there's nothing better than unapologetic. I'm using this and I'm doing the thing I love, and I'm being so smart and healthy about it. So
it's a role model right there. Yeah.
Do you have any tips to kind of help with that?
If it's your concern, and again, it's a trade-off, they're tinted versions. And we're not the only ones that make tinted zinc sunscreen, but this is our tinted everyday.
Put on my face right now.
Do you really? How do you like it?
I love it.
Does it have a dewy finish? I've been told it has a dewy finish.
A little bit. I mean, it kind of depends. Sometimes my face can be a little dry. It is not greasy or anything. And I don't have, obviously, there's not a white cast with the tinted.
Right.
But even the untinted, I didn't notice a big white cast.
Maybe I'll score some points here, but I'm sitting right next to you and it looks great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nice. It does. I think you look great. So the everyday, and we're not really a makeup company. We like to say that we're not a spa or luxury brand. We're an elite brand. We feel like things that are a luxury, it's like a McMansion. It's not really luxury. Like that stacked stone is just a facade. And so the luxury products and the spa products out there, many times, it's a facade. It's a horrible product that many disinterested dermatologists shill through their office. And it's just as bad as any of them. It's formulated in a way that's wonderful, and the patients think, oh, this is so nice. And oh man, my dermatologist in the lab coat recommended it. Meanwhile, it's terrible stuff.
That's exactly what happened to me.
That's all branding and kickbacks.
You don't have to look like a geisha girl wearing zinc oxide sunscreen, but you are going to need to have it on so that you can actually see it a bit. There needs to be a little bit of a noticeable haze. Otherwise, you don't have enough on. It's not really going to do enough of the job. Then you got the tinted version, but you just need to realize that it can transfer to fabric. And the things that we use, in ours at least, I don't know if, does normal other so-called makeup, does that stain clothing?
Yeah, if you it doesn't stain it permanently, but like if I give them a hug or something, it'll on a shirt. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think it's the same thing with our sunscreens, except our sunscreen, our everyday uses iron oxides. That's what makes your blood red.
Yes, so and I love that with melasma.
Right, exactly, the melasma, right. So it's a nice value add. And then with our tinted sport, that has cocoa in it. So these things stain, and they're suspended in oils. They're suspended in either coconut oil or jojoba/olive oil, and that's going to get on fabric, and it may or may not be able to be laundered out perfectly depending on your ability and stuff that you're using for laundry.
Yeah, but I was putting it on my daughter the other day, and I think that just kind of like warming it up and blending it in helps a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that takes time, and people don't want to. I mean, I get it, man. You just want to quick grab and go. You got other things to do.
But this is just a part of life. I mean, it's not
what
that
you decide is important.
Like, I'm very busy, okay? I have 2 little kids. I'm starting a business. Like, I'm very busy too, but I will take time to put freaking sunscreen on.
Hey, it's like you got other things to do, but are they more important than having those big issues later in life?
Right.
Protect your life.
Okay. I wanted to see if you could just kind of, in the simplest terms, explain what the difference is between chemical sunscreen and mineral sunscreen, like how it works on the skin.
Okay. I used to know how chemical sunscreen work, but I don't exactly know the exact process that works.
Right.
So chemical sunscreen, the basics of it is that it basically absorbs the UV energy. It converts it and it leaves it there, and it changes it chemically. It doesn't really get it away from your body in the way that zinc oxide does. The way that zinc oxide works, and zinc oxide in relation to UV energy in humans, it's just an amazing compound. When UV energy hits it, through a process called band gap absorption, the energy hits the molecule. You got electrons spinning around the nucleus, and those electrons are excited and they spin up to higher orbit rates. And it's not a continuous thing. It's like, here's orbit 1, here's orbit 2, here's orbit 3. It goes up in scale. And so as the UV energy goes away, it clicks back down. And at the end of the process, it's unchanged. It didn't attrite. It didn't dissipate. It keeps doing the same thing. It didn't break apart. It's still the same engine.
It doesn't degrade.
It doesn't degrade, right? And so, and that process, band gaps absorption. So it absorbs the energy, and when it does this, it releases infrared heat, which is perfectly fine for humans. And that infrared heat radiates away from the body. That's how zinc oxide works. It doesn't, people, it's semantics, but people like to say it's a physical barrier. Mm-hmm. It isn't. It's a chemical process. And that chemical process, band gap absorption, does that with the UV energy. I mean, yeah, that's reflecting. It's reflecting the rays. It converts them to infrared heat. By saying it reflects the rays, it's sort of implying that UV energy, UVA ray hits, UVA ray bounces off. No, right. UVA ray is absorbed, converted to infrared heat, and that goes away. It doesn't really matter, but that's the difference. So, and the thing about zinc oxide is it's not going to interact with anything except the UV energy. Non-nano is not going to absorb into your bloodstream because it's too big. The rocks are too big to get through your pores and such. If it did, there's never been a definitive study one way or the other that says that zinc oxide getting into your bloodstream is bad. But until that time, we kind of take the European mindset of until it's proven safe, we are going to avoid it. And so that's one reason why we only use non-nano. Now, a lot of companies like the biggies, they'll say this is clear zinc oxide or sheer zinc oxide. They do that by grinding it up into really tiny particles, and you get a ton of particles that are smaller than a millionth of a meter, a nanometer. And they're small enough to not only get into your bloodstream, but more importantly, they're small enough to get into marine life. And it's toxic to a lot of marine life. And again, reef safe is not regulated, but really the only truly reef safe thing is something that uses either titanium and or zinc oxide. And those versions are non-nano. I don't think they're making anything that's nano titanium dioxide because you don't want to be grinding titanium dioxide up. But zinc oxide, you can. And my hunch is that ground up zinc oxide is safe for humans. But again, until we know that, we're not going to fool with it.
Right.
But really, it's more about the reefs. It's more about the marine life. And so those big rocks, once they slough off a user's skin, will fall to the bottom of the riverbed or fall to the bottom of the ocean floor or be pushed around. They'll be their own separate little thing for the next billion years. They'll never change unless they go through a nuclear explosion or something like that.
Right.
But they won't interact. And so it's pretty doggone perfect from every consideration.
Yeah.
Zinc oxide is. The only drawback is it's white.
So the differences between non-nano zinc and zinc oxide is the particle size.
That's right. And a lot of times sometimes you'll see a product that'll say zinc oxide and you'll think, oh, it must be nano. But then if you look deeper, it's literally not, they say they have literally non-nano zinc oxide, and it's like they're using it, but they're not touting it. So it's like, do you not understand that this is important? So I don't know that.
Right.
Because if I were making something with non-nano zinc oxide, I would tell people it's non-nano zinc oxide because it's important.
Right. Well, that's superior.
To people like you, to people like me, it matters. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. That makes sense. And I noticed that a lot of the brands that have like mineral sunscreens, they just use nano zinc. Is it because rather than non-nano zinc or zinc oxide? Is it just because it's cheaper or just the manufacturing process is easier?
I don't. I've never even priced nano zinc oxide. I don't know that it's cheaper. It may be, but I'm pretty sure that they use it because they're trying to make it less white on the skin. The feeling is that when it's ground up in tiny particles, it's easier to smooth out and it's not as white. And again, I understand that too. It's a valid reason.
What about people with deeper skin tones? Do you think that there's like a solution coming for that, or even like with the tinted sunscreens?
You mean to match their skin colors?
Yeah.
We've considered it. There is, I think the company's actually called Black Girl Sunscreen, and I think they're fairly successful.
Okay.
I do know that African Americans get skin cancer 20% as much as Caucasians. So it is a myth that dark-skinned people can't get skin cancer or don't get skin cancer. They get it. They just don't get it as much. But it is there. It's just less of a risk. But it is still important. We have a medium. This is our medium tint, and this is our light tint. So we designed this one for what we say stereotypical aberrant Caucasian skin tone, and this one is a little bit bronzier, darker, and we designed that more for an olive or a darker skin tone. But we don't have anything for darker skin. We don't know that we're going to be able to understand that market. I'm hesitant. I don't know.
Right. No, I see that.
Does the sunscreen expire?
Great question.
Never really thought about
the
it.
way the FDA regulates it, they say they want everything to have an expiration date. So 3 years from purchase, or 3 years from manufacture, I should say. Zinc oxide never expires. It's going to work the same now in 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years. Now, the inactive ingredients may dry out. They might go rancid, theoretically. But when your inactive ingredients are things like beeswax, which they found unspoiled beeswax in urns from Egypt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That honey never. Yeah. I know honey never expires. Yeah. So,
and then you've got olive oil, jojoba oil, coconut oil, shea butter, and then you've got zinc oxide, which is a natural antimicrobial. Mm-hmm. I wear our sports sunscreen as deodorant, and I can go now for days. I don't. But if I forget or something, I have this theory that I think that modern deodorants, and again, I'm going to sound like a tree hugger right now, but I think that modern deodorants have a component in them that makes you smell sooner rather than later, so that you'll reapply every day, or at night you'll freshen up at night, because it's almost like a time thing, like an alarm goes off and you need to put it on again. But the antimicrobials in zinc oxide, they kill and stop the bacteria from growing that actually cause odor. Yeah, and so
I never really thought about that.
Our inactive stuff's never going to spoil. I've got a tube from 2017, one of our first tubes, and it's fine.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, but the FDA says everything has to have an expiration date.
Yeah, I know about that in food. So I was
and that's because of petrochemicals. Petrochemicals do need an expiration date. They lose their potency just sitting on a shelf. Now, I don't know about Tenosol, about vimetrizanol, but they attract very quickly.
And I know that they degrade too. Like if you leave your bottle of sunscreen in the car or something, chemical sunscreen degrade, but non-nano zinc doesn't.
That's right. It's never going to change. It's always going to be there with its band gap absorption capability to absorb, convert, and reflect infrared heat away from human skin. One of the things that FDA does regulate, water resistance. That's why you'll see on the shelves 80 minutes, very water resistant. That's legally, that's the most you'll ever see, because that's the FDA limit.
I saw that on your website, actually. Waterproof it's not possible to be waterproof or sweatproof. So that's a term that isn't allowed, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, waterproof means you're never going to lose any sort of coverage because of either water or sweat. So the test for that is they test for SPF. So let's say, in case of our sport stick, our sport paste is the SPF 30, very thick paste. They test the SPF, come back 30, and then they soak the tested body part for 80 minutes in water, and then they retest the SPF. And it's got to get at least 80% of the original. So that means in the case of a 30, it would need to come back with at least a 24. Well, after 80 minutes, ours is still over 29. It barely moved off of 30. There are not enough hours. Even if you went to Alaska in summer and the sun never went down, you're not going to get down to 24. But we can't legally say, and we wouldn't want to say all day coverage or waterproof or anything. I mean, I would never suggest, especially to somebody who's out doing heavy yard work and sweating like crazy in Florida or surfing, hey, don't bother reapplying after 3 hours. But if you forget, if there are too many sets coming in and you can't get in, it can save you some heartache because it's got a lot of staying power. And I'm not saying we're the only water-resistant sunscreen that has that attribute. I'm sure maybe all of the zinc oxide base are probably ones that say they're the ones that are water-resistant are probably highly water-resistant. Now, ours is water-resistant because our sport, it has beeswax in it, a lot of beeswax. It's thick, and sometimes we get people saying, gosh, it's still showing up in my pores after I shower. It's like, well, good. I mean, I'm sorry and I'm not unsympathetic, but it's working, man. It's hard to get off.
How about with the in speaking on that, how about with your hands? Like when you're applying, is it really difficult to get off of your fingers? Or same as anything else? I
don't think so. I think you just wipe it on a towel. But yeah, it's going to be there. I mean, unless you wipe it on a towel or something. Like when I put on my deodorant in the morning, I rub it on my underarms, and then I go over to my towel and rub it off, and it's fine. Good. It's coconut oil and beeswax.
Yeah,
that's how horrible to be on your skin. Yeah, It's not sticky. I mean, yeah.
Is the non-nano zinc? Does the zinc concentration? Is that what is contributing to that, to the texture or even the way it casts? Is it the concentration?
Yes. I mean, and we use 25. So for whatever reason, the U.S. has a legal limit of 25%, and that's what we use. I've seen a couple of small companies, maybe even mid-sized companies that are using 25, but it's rare that you see that. You'll see 20 a lot. You'll see 22. You'll see 23. And then you'll see the ones that are like 8, 12, and then they're adding up junk. But yeah, 25 is the most. And our lip balm, which technically isn't a sunscreen because we have never had paid to have it tested for SPF. So we don't advertise it as SPF, but we know the math, and it's going to give you between an 18 and 20 SPF.
Okay.
On our lip balm. Our lip balm we designed not only to protect you from UV energy, but it's got superfine lanolin in it, like breastfeeding moms use that for relief, and it's got vitamin E in it, and then the beeswax and shea butter. It's a very reparative thing while it's protecting you. But if somebody wanted more SPF and they're using our products on their lips, just use our Sport. You can use any of our stuff on your lips. It's all edible grade stuff. You could eat our sunscreen. It wouldn't taste good, but
right. I saw it was all food grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to test that out.
I mean, it smells more like our you sent, did you get our sample pack? What did you have? Or
I got the tinted, I got the small tinted one to try it. And then I got the regular, just like no tint, just like for the kids. Okay. Well, and for us, but especially for the kids.
Okay. So they're 3 and 5. I don't think that they're going to be able to care much about whether their skin looks white or not when they're in the pool.
No, they don't care, but I did.
I'll send you one. I'll send you a tube of our baby. Or it's vitamin rich, the same thing. It's got some beeswax in it. It is water resistant as well. It's not as water resistant as our Sport, but also that vitamin D and vitamin E in there, your kid's skin's going to love it. A lot of people will say that it cured their eczema. It didn't cure it, but it is a great eczema treatment.
So when I found you, I thought, because, I'm not like stressing out about it or anything, but I do try to avoid seed oils in my products and stuff. And when I found you, I was like, wow, this is very intriguing that you guys use an olive oil base. And I thought that was a differentiator alone, but the vitamin D, in my opinion, is too, because I have never noticed that in sunscreens. That's a really, really big deal. Because that's the biggest thing that people say about
I was just thinking the same thing too, because it's almost like your products are not just, defense or to help you with the sun, but it's actually good for your body. It's like having a supplement.
Yeah, but the problem is...
It's like you guys are my PR team. I mean...
Yeah.
It's completely genuine.
So
I know, I can tell. I mean, you guys are great. So, North Carolina, right? So it's 100 in North Carolina?
Yeah, hitting 100 today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's huge.
We're tied to Florida too. He grew up in Florida before he came to North Carolina, and my dad lives in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, so my wife is from Ormond Beach. It's near Daytona. She goes at least once a year with her dad, my father-in-law, to the Everglades, and they go fishing. Like, that sounds horrible. I want to hate it. So hot. The bugs.
Nice.
But anyway, you were saying about it's good for your body. I think most consumers do understand this. They feel like especially with more and more talk about sunscreens and what ones are good and which ones are bad, the public does have a little bit of awareness of it. And they think, well, it's not great to put on your body, but it does this job, and you're not wearing it every day, But it's not great, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But this stuff, this is actually nutritious. It's like your body's eating it and enjoying it. Like it's good. It's good for you. It really is. Well, the natural bug repellent. Unfortunately, the natural bug repellent, it's good for you, but it doesn't really do a very good job for a lot of cases. And so I shy away from comparing our stuff to natural bug repellent because our stuff does a better job than any of its kind out there. The only possible thing I would think that could be better is if somebody added titanium dioxide along with zinc oxide. Like if you did 25% zinc oxide and some sort of small percentage of titanium dioxide to get to say 50, or if you could get to 70, there would be a disconnect, but you're still pretty doggone protected. Mm-hmm. And I think about doing stuff like that because, again, someone who doesn't know, they're on a shelf and they say, oh, well, that's only 30. Oh, 50 is better. And 50 is better. Out for 5 hours, that's 300 minutes. You take 300 divided by 50, that's the equivalent of 6 minutes of unprotected coverage. If you're wearing a 30, it's the equivalent of 10 minutes of unprotected coverage. So 10 minutes versus 6, I mean, unless you're immunocompromised or some other sort of health problem, 10 minutes of sun is good. So 30 is plenty.
Never understood.
You never need more than 30. You don't really need more than 30.
I don't want more than 30 because I do want to get a little bit of color too. I'm extremely fair skinned.
You're getting color wearing 30?
Give me some color.
How long are you staying out in the sun?
So all throughout the winter, I was not wearing sunscreen, but then I started wearing like a natural version of retinol. It's Bakuchol.
Okay.
And then I would go out, even just taking my kids to school. My melasma started popping up again. And so that's when I started looking for sunscreens and recognized yours because I didn't like how my other sunscreen was.
Right.
It was giving me like peeling. But anyways, that's why I really like the iron oxides in your sunscreen.
For the melasma, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not wearing sunscreen is not a dumb thing.
I like unfiltered suns too.
Yeah. I mean, either God made us for the sun or we evolved for the sun. It can't be anything else. Humans are made for the sun. We've lived for thousands of years in the sun successfully. I mean, all our life here is based on the sun, and we are based on the sun. Again, I'm not hugging any trees, but it's just true.
It's true. Yeah. The sun gives me life. I've never been big with sunscreen my whole life until recently, because now there's cleaner products out there and it's a little bit safer and better for me. So trying to do better now, but the sun just is like, it reinvigorates you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say, go outside, put the phone down, go outside. Don't have your phone in your pocket. You guys.
Yeah, no, I'm terrible at that.
I know. Hey, do as I say, not as I do, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No, that drives me nuts. So there's colon cancer risks for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have recently, I mean, the last year, I'm doing a better job of, like, if we go out to eat, I will leave my phone at the house. And it felt really weird. Like, oh my gosh, somebody can't get in touch with me? Who cares? Yeah. In the 1980s and 90s, nobody could get in touch with you. And we were all fine. And it's made us so
accessible.
And 99% of the stuff is just a distraction.
Yeah.
It's not something you need at the time.
Right. And the mental poison of all that's happening out in the world is always a fingertip away.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I ruin my mood right now? Well, let's look at my phone.
100 million %.
I ran. Dang it. I ran. Come on.
Yeah. Going outside, though, that's the best wellness tip. Everybody says that. Everybody we ask, that's what we feel too. I'll tell you, even after a long day, like stressed out, feeling like tight and all that bad stuff, just feet in the ground and getting some sun, it just like your body just relaxes. It just feels so much better.
Well, and Kari, that's my wife, Kari. She's like taking off your shoes and actually touching, grounding. There's something about the magnetic core or something. It's like
Yes, we're a very big grounding family for sure. We're actually want to do an episode on that too. Okay, I just have a couple more questions for you and then I will let you go. Okay, so I wanted to know what your opinion is on so many products that have SPF built in, like moisturizers or foundations, lip glosses. Do you think that's legitimate protection? Kind of like the 2-in-1 in makeup?
I think, it can be. But it just depends on the formulation. It just depends on the ingredients. It's not a broad brush answer if they're good or they're bad. I mean,
it's better than nothing.
If they're petrochemical based products, then absolutely no. But if there's some sort of zinc oxide or even titanium dioxide component, and then with this Tenosorb come along, I mean, they'll be better than they were. They'll be less bad. I mean, I have to admit that, at least from everything that I know, it's not as good. It's like it's a healthier fast food.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you about tattoos. I have a little tattoo here. So I was curious, like with tattoo and mineral sunscreen, is there any differences on like how it behaves or works when you put it on tattoos, or anything that anyone should know who has tattoos?
I think that tattoos are an injury to your body, right?
I have non-toxic ink. Okay, right? I use non-toxic ink on mine.
Okay, sure, but it's something. It's they're doing something. It's invading, right? Yeah. And I'm not a tattoo expert by any means, but I just think, just in general, you've done something, put some sort of stress on the body. And I just think that makes it more important to go ahead and protect that skin that has been, whatever you want to call it, affected, injured, even after it heals. I think especially when it's in the healing process.
Yeah.
And zinc oxide helps with preventing infection, any kind of stuff like that. And I do know tattoos can get infected depending on the person or the operator. But they need protection at least as much as unchanged skin.
Sure. Yeah. I always put like a little bomb of just straight up coconut oil on it before I go to bed, or even shea butter, because I don't want it to get like, even though it's like not even an inch, I don't want it to get like stretched. It's
right. I
mean, my family's initials.
You invested in it. You want to take care of it. Right.
For sure.
Nothing wrong there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Before I forget, you guys know EWG, right?
Yes.
Environmental Working Group. I think they're very, very good. I think they're agnostic. They're as agnostic as can be. For some reason, they are for Tenosorb.
What?
The bemetrizanol. They are proponents of that. They've been pushing for it for years, and they are happy about this. I disagree with them about it, but I think that they're very, very good. And I think for any person who's wondering about, is this product okay? Is that product okay? Go to the ingredient list, and if there's anything that you don't know, take the time to look it up in their database. They have skin deep database, and it'll tell you, I think it's from a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the worst, 1 is the best. Mm-hmm. If that ingredient, how good that ingredient is.
That's a great resource.
I think anything higher than a 4, there are other options.
I would agree,
and there's 10s out there, stick to only 1s. Our stuff is only 1s. We only make 1s. We used to have the second highest number of 1s of any company out there. I think we're now 3rd or 4th because we just haven't kept introducing products, because it's like, how many ways do you want to introduce these things? But we have a lot of choices for people who are wanting to choose. We even have we don't sell it anymore because the FDA reached out to us and said, we don't want you to sell this. And the FDA is scary. It's a body wash that has zinc oxide infused into the jojoba oil. It's a saponified, like a Dr. Bronner's type soap, and it's got zinc oxide within the jojoba oil. And it'll give you about a 4 to 5 SPF. We designed it theoretically for guys who are balding, because guys who are balding, I never knew, and it makes sense. They don't want to put sunscreen on their scalp because that's nasty.
No one does.
Nobody does, right? Not in your hair. And so it's basically you wash it on and it'll give about a 4 to 5. And that, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, a 5 is a 80% reduction. And so it'll take the edge off of burns. But the FDA said, it implied, it does exactly. I mean, it's amazing to me that there's so many things out there that are bad for people, but yet the FDA comes after people who know what they're doing. So we're like, we didn't fight it. We were like, okay, done. So,
it's a very interesting organization, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. With the sunscreen exposure debate, I was going to ask you about vitamin D, but I guess we kind of nipped that because you have vitamin D in your sunscreen. But we also do have like the nitric oxide conversation, where research suggests that applying sunscreen, which blocks UV light, can inhibit skin-based production of nitric oxide, which is linked to cardiovascular health and blood pressure regulation. So the wellness community says, let's get some unfiltered sun for vitamin D and now nitric oxide. But the dermatology community obviously says wear sunscreen. We don't want to be getting skin cancer here. So where does the truth land? What does a balanced approach look like? There's certain times of the day.
I'm just thinking, would Marguerite like to join our advisors? I mean, you're really, no, I'm serious.
On our side,
I mean, you're very good at getting to, some important questions.
I guess really I'm curious if there's what is the balance of getting unfiltered sun and when you need to wear sunscreen? Is it the UV rays? Is it particular times of the day? Can I walk out and drive my kids to school at 9 a.m? And do I have to worry about getting skin cancer, or can I wait until 2 to put it on?
No. You're dead right on that. I mean, before say 10 a.m., you're good to go. And what's the thing where, if you get up early in the morning and your eye is exposed to early morning light. I mean, again, either God made us for this or we evolved for it. I mean, I don't it's above my pay grade, but we're made for it. And so when you get the early morning light, you sleep better, you go to sleep sooner, you wake up in the morning. And so, that's real science.
Yes, it's really interesting. I just learned this too when I was researching. I did not even know this before then. Okay. And then I just want to do a really quick rapid fire with you. Some of this we kind of answered. So you just...
Should I be nervous?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. So
Carl's keeping it real.
Like I said, we kind of covered some of it, but it's very quick answers. So, which actually is worse, chemical sunscreen or no sunscreen?
Chemical.
Okay. Marketing or legit? Lip SPF.
Legit.
Mineral SPF in makeup. Yes or skip it?
Yes.
This is kind of a similar question, but SPF in your moisturizer counts or doesn't count?
Counts.
Reef safe label. Trust it or verify it?
Verify it.
Seed oils or chemical sunscreen? Which do you think is doing more damage to the skin's relationship with the sun?
I think chemical sunscreen, but I'm very biased.
What's the one thing the sunscreen industry doesn't want people to know?
That most of their sunscreens are actually causing you to get skin cancer.
Solid. Okay. Sunscreen before or after moisturizer? Does it matter?
Oh, I don't know.
I always thought putting it on after was better.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of letting the moisturizer absorb for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's what I do at least. I don't know.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
We'll check back on that one. Okay. What is the biggest mistake people make when applying sunscreen?
They don't get it everywhere.
That's what I was thinking too. Sunscreen versus rash guard and shade. What is more protective for a toddler?
I would say rash guard under a shade. What would you say?
I would assume the same.
I would say rash guard, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you're going to know about this. I did not know about this because I'm not on TikTok.
No.
I thought this was very interesting though. It's called sunscreen contouring. It's a TikTok trend and it's applying less sunscreen to certain areas to tan in a pattern.
Oh.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's not optimal. It's not optimal, but I can see it. I mean, I see the reasoning behind people using spray Petrochemical sunscreen. I get it. There is a reason to do it. The trade-off is too much. Weight is not even close for people like me and you. But
I get that for like contouring your face or something like that. It makes me think of when like we were younger, you go to the tanning bed and get like the little Playboy bunny or something on your skin or whatever it was.
Right.
Out.
Yep.
So where are they contouring? Like, are they making it so that like their hips look better or something, or their body parts?
Faces. I think
faces. So like you get like
to get the
felt
cheekbones and
yeah, like the contouring you would put bronzer and then highlighter on. I mean you guys don't know much about this.
Just take Ozempic. Come on, man.
Yeah,
just take Ozempic.
Put some more stuff in your body.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it's like the food industry feeds us all this crap.
Yes.
And then like, oh, we got you on the back end. Oh my goodness.
I know. Oh my gosh. It was like, it's what we just talked about this in our last episode. It was about non-toxic lawn care. And what she said was so true. She was like, the companies, I'm not going to say what the company is, but the companies that are selling these really toxic lawn chemicals that are causing cancer are then turning around and selling the cancer drugs too. Mm-hmm. And it's so true.
They're all connected. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the healthcare thing. I mean, the healthcare, and you have to pay so much even when you're healthy. It's insane.
I wish like we all knew so we could all stand together because this couldn't happen if we weren't accepting it. So
but we're also divided over this other apparently a lot of stuff that doesn't really matter. Everybody's trying to like make the world a better place. And I'm like, that Michael Jackson song, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. It's true. Like if everybody would just go and treat their people right, their family, their friends, if they work in a company, their coworkers, if they run a company, do the right thing. I tell my boys, I say, guys, just treat your people right. Make your world that you deal with on a daily basis the best it can be. That's all you can do. And why would you do otherwise? I mean, oh gosh, I'm going off the deep end.
No, but I believe with you so much. Like, social media has made it so much worse. But everybody looks for somebody else to give them opinions or to understand something. It's like, stop for a minute, go outside into your world. Is that happening there? Like, take care of the people around you. Share, help, support, love. Have fun.
Where your focus is, energy flows. So I just focus on positivity.
Sure.
Well, we really enjoyed talking to you. You are lovely.
Yeah, that was really enjoyable. Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to follow along with us, you can find us on Instagram at CrunchyPod and at Unapologetically Crunchy. We have the same handles on TikTok too. And check out our websites at crunchypod.com and unapologeticallycrunchy.com. And if you have some tips and tricks you'd like to share with us, feel free to DM us or contact us on the website. And one more thing, if you love our podcast, please consider sharing with every single person you know who would love it. And leave us a review. Oh, and you can tell them to leave a review too. We are so beyond grateful for your support. Thank you so much. Peace, love, and crunch.